They try to break you so you can give them a different answer than what you've been giving them, that you don't know. You don't know what happened. And you're begging them to run tests. You're begging them for genetics. You're asking questions about cancer. You're asking questions about any possibility. Is there something that we missed in her records from NICU? Have you looked at them? And just everything is no, it's not possible. No, it couldn't be. I am Diana Sullivan, mother of 3 beautiful children. I've been married almost 20 years to my middle school sweetheart. We met in 6th grade PE, been together ever since, really. And it took us about 14 years to have our first child, Arabella. And that was after years of fertility treatments. And we finally went through with our life savings, and we were blessed. She was born. It was amazing. And then we knew we wanted more, of course. And then after a couple more rounds, and we finally had a success at twins, Amelia and Christian, born in 2023. I mean, not to sound cheesy, but it was just, it was perfect. It was a fairy tale. It was something that you prayed and wished for literally your entire life. It was just pure bliss. And when we got to come home from NICU with our twins, it just felt complete. We felt whole. Our daughter, she had a lot of complications in utero. She had a lot of the same symptoms and problems that, you commonly hear with these type of accusations. Slow feeder, not growing. At 11 weeks old, she was 8 pounds. So essentially the size of a newborn, almost at 3 months old. So she was very, very small compared to her brother, who was thriving. We were only home from NICU with the both of them for a little over 6 weeks. And she still had all these complications that we were bringing up to her pediatrician and trying various things. We decided to go out on a family adventure for the very first time. She was almost 3 months old. I was having a little more confidence in their immune system, being out in public. She was fussy coming out of her car seat, but then settled. So we didn't think anything of it. And then within a couple hours, about 3 o'clock in the morning, my husband came and woke me saying that she had a swollen right thigh. And we rushed her to our local ER. And then that's when everything snowballed. I didn't realize it then when it was happening. But as you look back, you realize certain things weren't normal, I guess. Sitting in the bed with Amelia holding her, trying to console her, I noticed that there was a security guard walking back and forth in front of the room. Remembering the way the doctor looked at me, the nurse's line of questioning kind of turned. And just the way they constantly kept checking on you in the room and just walking by the room and just looking at you, you could tell when they looked at you, it was just different. But like I said, I think I was so in the moment of what's happening to my daughter. How did this happen? What's causing this to happen? I didn't take any of those moments into consideration until we got transferred to our local children's hospital, Wolfson's, where she was born at, where she had just spent 42 days in their NICU, where every single record were at their fingertips. Instantly non-accidental trauma. It was literally a diagnosis put in her chart on every x-ray. There were so many levels of trauma. They refused to look at my pregnancy complications. Again, in their hospital. Their hospital was attached to where I was on bed rest for a month, where I'd given birth during an emergency C-section, where she was diagnosed with intrauterine growth restriction. Again, all of this just at their fingertips. You're instantly the villain, and all you want is to find out what's wrong with your child. But you can't focus on that, because all of a sudden, within 24 hours, you're being told that not just your child that's injured, but all 3 of your children are being taken from you and placed into state custody. And when I'm being told this, I was breastfeeding my daughter, and the CPS worker came in with a male security guard and literally just ripped her off of me. For any mother having skin to skin feeding their child, and to have a complete stranger come take your child physically and rip her off of you. It's just a feeling you'll never forget, because there's nothing you can do. They try to break you so you can give them a different answer than what you've been giving them, that you don't know. You don't know what happened, and you're begging them to run tests, you're begging them for genetics, you're asking questions about cancer, you're asking questions about any possibility. Is there something that we missed in her records from NICU? Have you looked at them? And just everything is no, not possible. No, it couldn't be. The next morning is when our CAP comes in. And that's just a whole nother level of disgust. A level I just of a human that I didn't know existed in this world. I was naive to the system. I was naive to what could happen bringing a child into an ER with an injury without an explanation, without a very clear, concise explanation, which I don't even think that would matter anyway at this point. Having my first encounter with a child abuse pediatrician was something I will never forget. It has caused me PTSD to walk into any doctor's office going forward. You have your first hearing after being removed from the hospital and your children being taken within 72 hours. So in 72 hours of this traumatic experience, you were to show up before a judge and explain yourself. And then we have a attorney for the state saying, we want to terminate their parental rights. Right, that I've never even heard of that term at that point. We didn't even have lawyers. I had a court appointed. This happened early October, and they wanted our trial to happen in November, before Thanksgiving. He was just so adamant. This has to happen before Thanksgiving, before we go on holiday. So if you think about that, you have a month. You have a month to find representation and to try to find a doctor to look at and get a second opinion. They can only look at what they've done. You're not innocent until proven guilty in family court. You were just instantly guilty. You had a little over 2 months to prove that we didn't hurt our child, to prove that we were good parents. We did have a bone specialist, and he looked at her x-rays and said, well, I can see clear demineralization of her spine, but it wasn't enough. It just wasn't. And then, of course, I got diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, but they wouldn't allow her to be examined for it, even though, ironically, the child abuse pediatrician wrote it in her very initial report for initial diagnosis and to be tested. But it never was done. I mean, none of her testing was done prior to. It's very hard when you get pulled in this system, at least in the state of Georgia. You know, every state is different on the time like they allow and what they allow. It's just not enough time when you're fighting for your life, for your babies, and they give you 2 months. So yeah, she's been diagnosed officially with, she has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and she's anemic still. She's been anemic since birth. So she needs to go to hematology. Her parathyroid hormone is so far beyond low, it's disgusting. Her vitamin D and calcium are still just exactly where they were from day one point away from low, but on tons of multivitamins. We have to up her protein. She's, goodness gracious, cardiology. She most likely has POTS. She has finding our specialist and going to these specialists. They open up her chart they see non-accidental trauma, they don't want anything to do with it. It's actually still hard to find her care after everything's done. And it's just mind-blowing to me. You're going to let a child suffer because of why? Because you don't want to go against the grain? It's done. No one's going to drag you to court. Just help my child. Families like mine. We're probably not much different than yours. And if you think about that in a broader term, put yourself in our situation. All of a sudden, you're going to ballet classes, you're going to Disney on Ice, you're just enjoying life, going to SeaWorld, planning your next family vacation. Your baby wakes up with an unexplained symptom. You do what any good parent does, and you take them to the doctor or the hospital. Within 24 hours, your whole world is ripped apart. And it can happen that fast.